Hello, everybody on Facebook. This is our second week going live on the Personalised Health and Wellbeing Solutions page, which is uber exciting. So thank you once again. Thank you to all those that are interested and following. And my intent is to always bring you some value on these, throughout the week, but particularly on these days where we're doing the live lunch and learns, but bring you some value and give you something to think about over the weekend, a question to ponder. As promised, today I will be bringing on a lady whose name is Manelle. And Manelle is a fellow precision health coach who will be working with us going forward. And we thought it would be interesting to give two different perspectives. So when we look at health types, Manelle and I are basically opposite on the circle, and to give you the difference between what's actually normal for different people. So while you might know this, it's actually how it plays out, because it can be influenced by how you were designed, your genetics, and then by your environment, your epigenetics. So let me bring Manelle on, and here we go. So welcome, Manelle. Thank you so much for joining us today. For everyone's background, so Manelle's health type is what's called an activator. So in general, activators' bodies are built for movement. So an activator body, if we were looking at health, the first thing we would look at is how much are they moving? And then we would start to look at food. Now, activators are the only group of people that we look at exercise and fitness, exercise or movement and food first. I'm a diplomat, and as I've just said, I'm basically opposite Manelle on our circuit. On our circle. And for me, movement doesn't come until about the fourth priority for me. So I beg your pardon, it's the third priority for me. So if I'm looking at health, there's a few things I look at first before I start to think about movement. So welcome, Manelle. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Awesome. So I've just been doing a lot of talking. Our theme for today is very much about drop the total overhauls.
Yeah.
Don't go there, because it sets you up for, it's just not sustainable. It sets you up to gradually erode if you're able to keep up the pace, but gradually erode. And before you know it, it's almost as if, and I hate saying the word failed, but it's almost as if you haven't made the change. So one of the things that we were talking about just quickly before we came on is, if someone came to me and said, okay, we're doing a total overhaul, my immediate reaction, and that for most people who are endomorphic, is to go, oh my God, and just freeze.
Yep.
Because it's just too much. Whereas for you, Manelle, if someone came and said, okay, we're looking at all this stuff and we're going to do a total overhaul, what's your reaction?
Let's go. Yeah, no hesitation whatsoever. It's do first, think later.
Yeah, and that's a really important point, which is, it's a tendency of bodies built like yours is to do first and then think later. So if I think about a client that I've had who had an opportunity to go sailing, and it was a decent trip. It was a week, and then when that client got aboard, client was female. When she got aboard, she found she was with 3 males. Not that was an issue, but 2 of those males she didn't really know, and the circumstances around it weren't really good for her where she was at. So that was an instance of her doing, and then thinking about it and going, oh, jeepers, maybe that wasn't the best decision after all. But that is such a common tendency for activators, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I always I used to always describe myself as being an opportunist. If an opportunity arises, I'm there. Now knowing what I know, it's like I'm an activator. This is why I do what I do. So yes, there are opportunities there. I'm the first one in, and that's totally okay. I've refined my impulsivity, work in progress always, that you need to look into and just slow down a little bit, because we are always ready to go. Yeah, there's no hesitation.
Yeah, you're the type of people that say yes. Do you want to?
Yes.
And you've got yes out of your mouth before they've even finished the sentence.
Yep.
And maybe that's a generalization. Not every activator is like that, but the tendency is common amongst people that are mesomorphic. So if you had, knowing what you know about your body, if you had lots and lots of things that needed changing, so let's talk about health in particular, and you've gotten really out of step and you've had quite a few things showing up and you've got all of these things that need to change, where would you start?
The very first thing that I would say is, I mean, if we're looking at it from a, following your profile from a shape perspective, timing. I would focus on nothing more apart from getting the timing right. Then I would refine that. What I would then look into is,
let's just take a pause there and talk about what you mean by timing.
Timing of, so there's a chronobiology clock, and once you understand your profile and you've got your Shea app, there's your ideal time of when you should be training, when you should be eating, when you should be sleeping, timing of when it's ideal for you to be doing tasks that require a lot of focus, and tasks where you can do like multitask, and tasks that you can be more a little bit on the go. So that for me would be my recommendation for any of the health types, is focus first on getting the timing right. Don't focus so much about calories in, calories out, movement, what you're eating, so much as the most important thing is when you're doing them. So align all of that with your chronobiology clock using your Shea app. Then I would start to refine it. So it's very easy to get all of this really important, in-depth information about yourself, and you're so keen. I was so keen to learn about myself and to implement everything, because I want to do it right. I want to completely immerse myself in it, like with everything else. It was all in. I don't half-ass do anything. So for me, it was, now what I know is taking it a step back, slowing it down, and working to my lifestyle priority. So my lifestyle priority number one is fitness. So once I understood the timing of things, then I went in, okay, I'm going to focus on the fitness. What kind of fitness should I be doing? What kind of movements does my body need here and now? And complementing that with my day-to-day life. Doing it enough, doing it at the right time, and doing things that were actually going to benefit my body and not make me feel broken or sore, or all the things that you don't want to be feeling from the movement. The most important thing is finding enjoyment in the movement for an activator.
Yeah.
It's really important.
So would you say that finding and working with your natural rhythms, because we talk about chronobiology, and chrono meaning time, biology meaning life, and that's a very, very basic way of looking at it. For when we talk about biology, we're talking about the timing of how your body works. So where the hormones are up and down and where you would expect them to be, and the things that drive you, night owl versus early bird, those sort of things. So working with your natural rhythms. So is that the gist of what you were saying?
Yeah, absolutely, because we've got different hormones firing up at different times. And it's not to say that if I trained at a time that wasn't my ideal time for my health type, that everything was going to be terrible after that. It's not that. It's about
it's not that black and white.
No, it's not. And it's about getting that maximum benefit for the long term. So rather than tiring myself out at the wrong times and you're basically asking different organs, different hormones, different parts of your brain and your body to work at times that may not be ideal for them. And so when you can work at the ideal times for that, then you're going to benefit so much more. So you do reap the benefits of what you're putting in if you can get the timing right.
Yeah. And one of the things, and this has been absolutely fantastic, but I'm very cognizant that I usually try to keep it about 10 minutes, and we're over the 10 minutes already. Oh my gosh. So one of the things, if we compare and contrast, for me, like Manelle was saying about exercising and eating. So for Manelle's body, exercise, moving a lot, eating 5 times a day to small amounts to fuel that movement, totally different to the recommendations from my body. And, we hear this and we'll hear people around us saying all the time, oh, I know I should be doing this. I know I should be doing that. And one of the things that we really work with our clients is you've got the knowing. Yeah, I know I should do this. I know I should do that. But then there's the knowing, that deep-seated knowing that this is what's good for me and this is what makes me feel good.
Yeah.
So
there's that intellect that you've got, but then there's also, if your heart doesn't align with it, that disconnect is, you want to work on that being connected. So you want to be able to feel aligned with what you know. And that is been the biggest game changer for me, really being in tune with myself and listening. I have all the knowledge now, but how am I actually maximizing it and using it in my day-to-day life so that it feels okay? And it feels actually not okay. It feels amazing. It feels brilliant. Yeah.
Fantastic. If you are watching and you'd like to know a little bit more about this, we're actually going to start hosting workshops on the 3rd Sunday of each month. It'll be at 9 a.m. Queensland time, so Australian Eastern Standard Time, not daylight savings, so 9 a.m. Brisbane time, on the 3rd Sunday of each month, where we'll introduce you to these concepts. So if you're wanting to know a little bit more, stay tuned for the invitations to the events. Like I said, it'll be a rolling thing, and we're starting on the 16th of February. So keep an eye out for a post a little later with some quick tips on how to get started. If you're looking at, you've got a massive list of things you need to do with your health, looking at just a few quick tips on how you can get started. And I guess that's it for now. Thanks for coming on, Manelle. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, one thing to leave you with, a question, as I always do, a question. Okay. What question can I put to you? So whether you have a lot to change, whether you only have a little bit to change, what I'd really like you to ponder and to think about over the weekend is, what's your first step going to be? All right, I'm going to leave it there. All right, thanks, Manelle, and thanks everyone on Facebook. We will be talking to you again soon. Bye for now.